In today's episode of Your Body, Your Health, we're going to talk about diet and eating. Stay tuned for the end of the video. I'm going to talk about 3 different foods that will help you lose weight, increase muscle mass, as well as prevent cancer, as well as heart disease, diabetes, etc. So as a family doctor, I often ask, what should I eat, doctor? Or if a patient has high cholesterol or sugar or diabetes, what can I do to avoid medication? And in fact, you can avoid medication by proper diet and lifestyle modification in most cases. Or you can have your medication reduced, the need of medication reduced, doses or the number of pills reduced by proper diet and lifestyle modification. So to answer the question, what should I eat? Your plate should consist of 50% or half of the plate vegetables, 25% multigrain carbohydrates. So we are talking about whole grain foods, and another 25% lean protein. So as you can see, 75% of the plate consists of fiber. So as opposed to completely cutting out all carbohydrates, we want to have carbohydrates that are rich in fiber. And why is that? Fiber makes you feel full without having high calorie, helps you have better bowel movements and digestive system work better, and prevents all sort of cancer, including colon cancer, breast cancer, just to name a couple, and helps prevent and slow down the progression of heart disease, diabetes, and many other medical conditions. The 25% protein components can be lean meat, but preferably plant-based proteins. And there are lentils, nuts, seeds, legumes, soybeans, etc. that they help reduce your cholesterol, as well as good for your heart, and reduces sugar levels. So beneficial for both diabetes type 1 and type 2 patients. And then the preferred drink is glass of water, and that is promoted by the new Canadian guidelines as well. However, I would say skim milk probably would be the best. But when there's a choice in the restaurant or you're out and you have to choose between water, pop, soda, alcoholic beverages, or juice and stuff, obviously the healthiest one would be water. Now there is a social and emotional aspect to eating. So it's always good to eat together, eat as a family, as well as encourage talking during eating. That is fine. Obviously, you're not talking when your mouth is full and everything is dripping out of your mouth, but we are talking about taking your time with your food. Same thing also I can say about mindfulness. So everything you do it with mindfulness. So enjoy your meal, feel the texture, feel the taste, and take your time with it. One is obviously pleasurable. Number 2 is with the family. Such a busy lifestyle that we don't get to spend that much time together, so it's nice to spend time together and talk about our days. But also, when we start eating, it takes roughly about 20 minutes for the message from our brain, or I guess from the stomach, saying that I'm full, to be sent to our brain for us to feel full. And it takes about roughly 20 minutes or so. Everybody varies. So sometimes we are very hungry, we fill up the place, we start eating, and during that 20 minutes, our stomach is already full, but our brain hasn't gotten a signal that I'm full, so we continue eating. However, if you were to slow down and eat, you will not feel as hungry. And you probably will not eat as much, because your brain will get the signal that, okay, you ate enough, I'm not hungry anymore, and you will stop. So we stop, we won't overeat. Another recommendation is, don't fill up your plate to the max. Often we are very hungry, we have skipped meals or snacks or whatever in between, and we are very hungry, we see the food we like and we just fill it up to the max. And sometimes as we get towards the end, we kind of feel full, but at the same time we don't want the last spoon to go to waste, so we just have the last bite as well, so the food hasn't gone to waste. However, it's best to put maybe 3/4 of what you think you want to eat initially, and if you still feel hungry after, go and have that. But most often you'll find that initially we overestimate how much we can eat or how much we need to eat to feel full, and we fill up our plate too much, and the last few bites we are just having it to finish our plates, which is much harder to lose weight than it is to gain weight. And money that some people say, oh, I don't want to waste money about this food and stuff, it costs much more to lose that weight than it is to throw away that food. Obviously the best thing is not to throw away the food, not to put it in your plate so that you can save it to have it later, so that we are not wasting food. I'm against any wasting, but that's what I'm talking about. Put a little bit less than you think you need, and if you need more, then you can always go back for it. And it's important to enjoy your food. So like I said, eat mindfully, enjoy the texture, enjoy the taste, and take your time with it. And when you feel that I had enough, just stop. Save the rest for later. You do not have to finish what's on the plate right there. So to sum it up, we want our plate to have 50% vegetables and salad. We want 25% multigrain foods, basically multigrain carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates that have essentially mostly fiber, and it's very beneficial for us. And another 25% we want it to be protein, preferably plant-based protein, such as soy, nuts, seeds, but legumes, but it can also be lean meat, fish, chicken, and fish such as trouts and salmon are so healthy for us and have source of omega, vitamin D, etc. Now the other component was, so one is proportion. So we talked about proportion of the components of this plate, but also portion is important too. Be mindful of portion size. We often overestimate how much we need to eat, and we put more on our plate than we need, and we end up eating it just to finish the last bite. So put a little bit less, be mindful of the portion, and if you are still hungry, of course, then you can go and have a bit more, but eat mindfully and take your time. Do not rush through the food. Enjoy family time, do mindfulness where you enjoy the texture, the taste of the food, and etc. And like I said, this kind of diet will help you to reduce the sugar, to reduce blood pressure. You will help reduce risk of heart disease, various cancers, colon cancer, etc. That will be helping reducing as well. All right. So now, coming to those 3 foods that we talked about. So talking about those 3 foods. Number 1, I would say egg white. So 2 egg whites, about 63 grams, would have only 30 calories. That's negligible. Every 3,500 calories roughly will be about 1 pound's weight. So if you're exercising or reducing calories in your diet, for every 3,500 calories equal to 1 pound. So when we're talking about 30 calories, that's nothing. So 2 egg whites would have 30 calories. They would have 0 cholesterol. They would have 0 sugar and 7 grams of protein. So essentially all you're getting is protein. Protein is important for building up muscles. And excellent source. So as far as the yellow part, the yolk part goes, that's full of proteins and stuff, but it does have some cholesterol and everything. So I personally would have 2-3 egg whites, and I may have 1 yellow yolk, just to make it a nice colorful, gives that yellow color to it, and I make it scrambled eggs with now in the future videos we talk about what oils to use and how to eat the eggs and etc. to be healthier, etc. A lot of times even the yolk part for cholesterol is not as important as what you make it with. Of course, if you make the egg with butter, it's horrible, because the amount of butter cholesterol that is in butter, and when you cook the egg with butter, is unbelievable. So the egg component is not as important, the yolk component, as what you make it with. But anyways, in this case, we are talking about egg white. And you don't have to buy the egg white package like this. You can just use the egg, and the yellow part use it for something else. So in the future videos we talk about the yellow part, the fat component in it, the omega component in it is very good for the hair and can be applied to the hair, etc. Obviously I haven't been using it on my hair, but that's another topic. We'll talk about it in the future. So that was number one, the egg. Now the number two thing I'm going to talk about is Fiber One cereal. Now again, I don't have any affiliation with any of these companies or whatever. All I'm talking about is fiber components, so you may find the equivalent cereal like this. I have compared different cereals, and this is by far the best cereal out there, and I have this for breakfast. It can be used as an add-on to other cereals for breakfast, but I personally have this for breakfast and I love it. And again, we're gonna look at the ingredients. This is that's the English version. So looking at this Fiber One cereal, 31 gram, which is a half a cup, basically serving 90 calorie. Again, 90 calories is essentially nothing. And 0.5 gram of fat, which there is zero trans fat. So basically it's kind of like no fat. Sugar is zero. This is something that you rarely find in cereals, so zero sugar. And it has 15 gram of fiber for 31 gram. So this is like 50% fiber. You find nothing like that anywhere. And it also has 2 gram of protein, and it's a source of 30% of iron requirements. So fantastic. Again, fiber, what it does is when you have the fiber, you don't actually digest it. It doesn't turn into muscle, it doesn't turn into fat, doesn't turn into anything in your body. It just kind of comes out at the other end. And what it does is it's very good for the colon, and it prevents constipation, by the way. So people that have issue with constipation, increase your fiber, better than any laxative, healthier than any laxative, and more effective. And it also significantly reduces cholesterol. It significantly helps you lose weight by making you feel full without basically gaining calories. And so it's excellent for diets. Like when I have this for breakfast, I'm not hungry till 1-2 p.m. sometimes. So it makes you feel full, but when you go washroom, eventually it all comes out. So there's like nothing of it gaining your body. So you are losing weight. So it can be used again. Prescription. I'm a family doctor. When a patient comes and says, "Doctor, give me something for constipation," I say, fiber. Patient comes and says, "Doctor, I have high cholesterol. Is there any way I can reduce my cholesterol without taking medication, or the medication alone is not doing the job? What do I do? What do I do?" Other than exercise, lifestyle, and other stuff, I say fiber. A patient comes and says, "I'm worried about colon cancer. I'm worried about different cancers. What can I do to reduce risk of cancer?" Fiber. "Doctor, I need to lose weight. What can I do to lose weight?" Fiber. "Doctor, I'm always snacking, always feeling hungry. I always have to have something. What do I do not to feel hungry all the time?" Fiber. So amazing. So as you can tell, I'm a fan of fiber. So so that's one thing. Of course, there's Metamucil, there's Benefiber, there's other fiber supplement that can be used, etc. And in future videos, we will talk about that. And the next thing I'm going to talk about is skim milk. Skim milk. So I know that there is a lot of, isn't it like you're looking at a multivitamin thing over here? Look at how much vitamins it has in it. But anyways, a skim milk. And milk, I know it's controversial, but again, there's a lot of controversies on the internet. But as a medical doctor, believe me, skim milk, fantastic. I cannot think of anything better. I personally have a skim milk in the fridge, and to be honest, I agree, it tastes like water, but after a while you get used to it. So I have it instead of water. I have a 2-liter thing in my fridge, and whenever I'm thirsty, I go to the fridge, I have it, wonderful. I drink it instead of water, basically. But so again, so looking at the skim milk, for 250 ml, it has 80 calories. So compare this to a pop or a soda or a juice, apple juice, orange juice, hand squeeze orange juice or apple juice. Compare it to that. Instead of 250 calorie, it has 80 calorie. It has 0 fat. It has 8 gram of sugar. Now, how much sugar does the orange juice have that you squeeze yourself? The apple juice that you do it at home yourself? How much does it have? 30. Go look at the one you buy from the store. 30 plus. Sugar is poison. You know what? I would go as far as saying fat is not as bad in lipids and fats in anything, in any food, is not as bad as sugar. Sugar is poison, and we'll talk about that in the future videos. Sugar is poison, so just remember that. So again, so this has hardly any sugar. It has 8 grams of sugar, same amount of hand squeezed orange juice, hand squeezed or made fresh at home apple juice has 30 grams. It has 10 grams of protein. That is fantastic source of protein. But look at the vitamins. I mean, it looks like you're taking a multivitamin. 30% of calcium requirement, 40% of vitamin D, 50% of B12. Fantastic. So what I have for breakfast, I have a bit of a skim milk. I put it with the fiber one. That's my breakfast. Some other days I have egg white, 2, sometimes 3 egg whites, with maybe 1 yolk just to give it color. And I didn't talk about egg yolk, but in the future we can talk about it. It is source of lots of vitamins. I mean, if you look at it, it's kind of like a multivitamin. When I do have it, I have the omega-3. I don't have it in excess, but I think it's a good idea to have a couple per week of a yolk. It has a lot of different nutrients and vitamins in it. So all right guys, so this was today's session of Your Body, Your Health. I hope that you found it helpful. If you found this video helpful, please do click on like and do subscribe to this series. I do appreciate all the feedback for the previous video that I had posted, and I do look at the feedbacks and I do make changes accordingly. If there's any specific topic that you want me to talk about, let me know and we'll talk about it. I'm hoping to do videos on exercise, stretches, different medical conditions and stuff, but I'd like to know what you guys like me to talk about. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next episode of Your Body, Your Health.